I'm just gonna get right into it. First thing we're going to do is take all the photos we're going to be using from our iPhone. To do this on your iPhone, you're actually going to heavily rely on the burst feature. Before we go out and actually take all these photos, we want to make sure that we have our iPhone set so that we can take our burst photos using the volume up button. You can set this by going into your camera settings and toggling this feature on. This is important because we are going to be using both burst photos and manual photos with the touchscreen shutter button. All right, let's go take some photos. Three, two, one. See ya. All right. All right, can use the volume up to do a burst and then manually shoot the canopy flight photos. Alright, once we have all of our photos, we're going to go ahead and actually select out the ones that we want from our phone and then delete the ones we don't want. I have a ton of photos here, but these are all the ones that I think that we're actually going to be using. There was way more than we needed before, so I've condensed these down to just the most important ones. So I've taken all the photos that I had on my phone, I've airdropped them to my Mac, and then I've dropped them all within a single folder. This is going to be easier when we import them into Photoshop. So now we're going to hop over to Photoshop, and actually what we want to do is import all of the photos as layers. This is going to allow us to remove parts of the photos that we don't want and then keep the parts of the photos that we do want. So we're going to go to File, Scripts, and Load Files into Stack. We're going to get a dialog here, and we're going to just browse for that folder that we put all of our photos into. So we're just going to select all of these and open them all. Click OK. We have about 88 photos here, so it is going to take Photoshop a minute to import all these photos. Alright, once we have all of our photos imported, we're going to go ahead and select all of the layers, which is going to be all of the photos. I'm just going to click the very bottom one, hold Shift all the way to the top so we have all of the photos selected. Then we're going to go to Layer, Arrange, and Reverse. And we're doing this because we want the very last photo that we took on top and the very first photo on the bottom. Cool. Now we're going to go ahead and actually turn off all of these layers. You can just hold Option, and it's going to make only the single layer that you clicked on visible. So we're going to click the very bottom layer and then the one directly above it. Now, because this was shot handheld and not on a tripod, you'll see that the camera is a little bit shaky, so we may need to do some adjustments later. But for now, it's good enough, and because we have so many photos, it's probably going to blend together and it's not going to look too off. So we're going to select the second layer, we're going to go ahead and create a new layer mask, and we're going to select our brush tool. And we're going to zoom in on the part of the photo that we want to keep, and that's going to be Mr. Ryan here under canopy. You want to make sure that black is your foreground color, and we can change the brush size if we want. I like using the soft round brush because I find that it blends the best. You want the opacity to be 100% and the flow to be 100%. You can probably make this guy a little bit bigger, just so it doesn't take so much time. And then it's going to look like we're removing him, because in effect we are. And the feathering is also important on this because it'll allow the images to blend into one another. Cool. So now that we have that set, we're actually gonna hit Command I. That's gonna go ahead and bring that other image through. And then we're essentially gonna repeat this on every single layer. Command I. And repeat. And if we need to, we can go back in and we can get rid of some of this change in color. Especially if there's parts of the image that don't align, we can actually go back in and just remove them with the black brush. Just so it's not too obvious that this is a blended image. Cool. I'm not gonna make you guys sit around and watch me do all of this to every single one of these layers. So let's fast forward to the almost completed project. All right, now we're just about done. Very last photo. I'm gonna go ahead and create another mask. This one actually goes out the page a bit, but that's all right. Cool. Sweet. Looking good there. Just gonna make our brush a little bit bigger so we can get this canopy a little quicker. And again, if you get a little too much, like we are here, let me go ahead and shift it back. We can just go back and erase it a bit and change my brush down a little bit so I can, whoops, don't want 100, we want 10. Cool. Just go ahead and erase a little bit of this. Might do a little more just to smooth it out. Looking pretty good. Cool. All right, moment of truth. That's almost 100 photos layered together in Photoshop. Sweet. Now what we got to do is basically do some post-processing on it in Lightroom, kind of beef it up a little bit, and it'll be good to go. All right, so I dropped the photo here in Lightroom, did a few minor touch-ups, just getting it looking a little prettier. That's the finished product. What a party load. Yeah, if we zoom in, you can see all the different jumpers. So this guy's in free fall, where everybody deployed at, which is kind of cool. And then their canopy path of travel. Pretty cool. Definitely a lot of work, but I think these photos can be really cool because it puts a lot of information into a single photograph where, you know, even videos don't really give you this kind of outline of how a jump, you know, goes. I mean, the path of travel, how low people are pulling, especially relative to one another. I think it's really cool to kind of see this all combined together. I've actually done a few composites with my DSLR in the past. We have my boy Boone here, jumping off Camelback. So it's pretty cool because you see the entire path of travel from exit all the way to landing. I got one of Tucker here. I think this is actually the first composite that I actually did. This was also on Camelback. And then we got Chase here as well, up with the Superstitions. This one was tough. I remember I landed right away, pulled my camera out, put it back together, and then took as many photos as I could handheld. Came out surprisingly well not using a tripod. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little something. I think this is a really cool photographic technique you can use for all applications. I mean, not even just for base jumping. It's cool if you're doing any kind of action sports or honestly any kind of movement where you can see the action unfold over time. Really hoping to move forward with a lot more content geared towards photography and videography in the action sports environment. I think base jumping is one of the coolest to film and shoot. So if there's anything you guys would like to see in particular, definitely drop a comment below and let me know. I'm happy to make a video on it. And that's all I got for you guys, so I'll see you next time.